Fear periods in dogs. It's 100% normal for dogs to have two different fear periods, one that is around 8 weeks to 11 weeks, and the other one can start around 6 months or as late as 14 months. Smaller breeds tend to experience the second fear period closer to the 6 months range, and larger dogs around 12 to 14. It all depends on each dog, their genetics, and just luck. It also depends on their level of maturity and how fast their body matures. The first thing to do when your dog gets spooked is to not panic. Take a deep breath and back up. I know it's easier said than done to not panic, especially coming from someone who has a panic disorder myself, and their brain tends to turn off. But the first thing you need to do is back up from anything that is spooking your dog, because you don't want to make it worse. What we want is for the dog to recover quickly and then go investigate that thing. You want to make that thing that they are scared of as exciting and as fun as possible, whether that means you make it a toy, or you throw treats towards it, or you praise them, depending on which way your dog is motivated. The first one starts at around 8 weeks and goes to 11 weeks. Ironically, this is right in the middle of their socialization window, as well as it's right when they're coming home to their hopefully forever home. You don't overwhelm the puppy. Go slowly has more payout than going quickly, because you don't have a magic eraser to erase negative experiences with the thing that they are scared of. It's easier to build on small, good progress than tear down and rebuild a negative experience. I tend to think about it as a house. You can make an ugly house with good foundation pretty, but you can't make a pretty house with bad foundation more sturdy without messing up the prettiness. No amount of socialization will prevent a fear period. However, socialization can help them recover quicker and be more comfortable around more things faster. It also will prevent trigger stacking. The second fear period is around 6 months to 14 months. This one tends to surprise novice dog owners the most. Usually small breeds will tend to go around the 6 to 8 months mark, and larger dogs will go around 10 to 14 months. The reason why smaller breeds tend to get their second fear period younger is because their body and mind is maturing faster than larger breeds, and they will get to be adults faster than larger breeds. That isn't set in stone, obviously. It all depends on a multitude of things, whether that means their health, the genetics, and also the fact that smaller breeds tend to grow into their adult body faster because they don't have to grow as much as larger breed dogs. You have to remember that although the dog looks like an adult, they are still technically a puppy. Think of it as a teenager. They want and need independence, but they aren't exactly ready for the world, especially by themselves yet. Remember that fear periods are not forever. However, the fears that they collect when they are in a fear period will be lifelong if you don't stop them. You have to work through it, even if that means waiting until the fear period is over and then working on the fears that they collected, I guess, when they were in a fear period. Luna is going through a fear period right now, and to be honest, it is pretty scary. You know, your confident dog, the most confident dog, will be spooked by some things that they have been around like a billion times, and it's weird. But you have to remember that it doesn't last forever, and they eventually will go back to being their confident dog that they normally are. Things she has been spooked by. A stuffed dog. Yeah, a stuffed dog. She's been around this dog many times. She's done training sessions with this dog. She's been in through this situation that happened. She's been through like 2 or 3 times. It looks like a real dog. It's the closest to a real dog that a stuffed animal could get. The first thing that happened was I froze. For a split second, I froze, and then I backed up against the door, which I couldn't there was only so much room I could go. And then she got spooked for maybe 2 to 3 seconds. Like, it wasn't a big spook, but it was 2 to 3 seconds, and then she turned to sniff a dog crate that a dog was previously in. And while she was sniffing the dog crate, I had my trainer come help me, and I'm like, she got spooked. Well, actually, she heard her get spooked, but she came over and helped, and she made the stuffed dog, as happy and exciting as possible, playing around with it and making it act like it was a toy. And within like 15 seconds, Luna was just trying to like eat it. She tends to eat toys, so. And then we did another round of going around and saying hi to the dog, and she was perfectly fine. And that is why I have a trainer. I'm setting myself up for success, as well as Luna and her service dog, and just training in general. In my opinion, everyone needs help at some point, and it's easy to get an outside perspective in an unbiased manner, which is also why I film a lot of my training sessions, because it's easier to lie on a paper, but you can't really lie on video. Well, I mean, you can, but that takes a lot more effort than it's worth. The first step is to step back from the thing that they are spooked by until they are comfortable and able to succeed, whether that means 10 feet, 20 feet, 50 feet, or just as far as only being able to just see the item and then turn around if they need it. It all depends on how much they are spooked and how scared that is. It all depends on how that dog reacts normally, as well as how that dog is reacting in that situation. For example, the stuffed dog situation earlier, I could have, well, there was a door, but I could have, if I needed to, opened the door and gone outside. And that would have been a disaster because it was raining. But I could have, especially because Luna loves rain. She's a golden. They love rain, I swear. Step 2 is to praise and reward the dog for even looking at the thing or sniffing, taking a step forward, anything that is better than being spooked. Step 3 is make the thing exciting as possible, but don't force them if they don't want to. That's important, because you can't force someone or something to not be scared. That's not going to, you're just working against instincts at that point, and you're hardwired to be nervous at some point. Step 4 is to keep the training sessions short and fun, especially with things that they are scared of. In that training session, we were in a group class, and Luna, if Luna needed a timeout, I would have given her a timeout, but she didn't. I know dog body language pretty well, and as well as my trainer is an animal behavioralist, and we were talking about it. And we gave her about 2 to 3 minutes of just like relaxed time, and then we started up again, and she was perfectly fine. I was watching her body language, and as well as my trainer was watching her body language to make sure she was perfectly fine. And then we started playing games, and after, she got to run around with her best dog friend. They are both Goldens, and they play like Goldens, and they're absolutely insane, to be honest. But I find it literally adorable. Taking a break from training sessions in a fear period can actually set your dog up for success later in life, because you are making sure that they have less fears, sort of. The things I've been doing during Luna's fear period is to going to our weekly group dog training sessions, but not doing any places that I can't predict the outcome. For example, I know all the dogs there. None of them are aggressive. They bark a lot. All of them, except for the other Golden, which is Luna's best friend. But they all bark a lot. Instead of going to doing training outings, except for the group dog classes, I've been doing walkthrough videos with Luna. I use my projector. It was a Christmas present. It's very expensive. But I've been using those to almost put them in as training sessions, especially because I can stop whenever I want and not have to walk through an entire store to get her out of the training session. The things I've been watching through a lot, for example, the things we've been working on are Universal walkthroughs, Disney, Mall of America, New York City, and dog show. Agility in particular, because those dogs bark a lot. there are a lot more possibilities. You can look them up. Just search up walkthroughs and you will get a bunch. The reason why I use these, not only because they can, the reason why I use a projector is not only because they can hear it, but they can also see it, and it's almost lifelike, if not lifelike. I actually used my projector back in April when I wasn't allowed to leave my house because of getting exposed to COVID. So I do believe that my projector and doing these daily walkthroughs did help keep our training in check. The biggest thing I can tell you is to not worry about fear periods, that they are normal and they won't last forever. And with necessary socialization before and after these fear periods, you can make them almost non-existent. Think logically, as hard as emotionally driven you are, as well as take a deep breath, and if you need to take a break, take a break. In all honesty, me and Luna are taking a break, and that's until her fear period is over.